Hello.
Hello.
We apologise for the noise you can hear on the car, but we've been waiting here for years, haven't we? It feels like years.
You need to explain what you mean by that. He means the rain. He doesn't
right.
mean any other kind of noise in the car.
Well, I'm feeling a bit... You never know.
We are going to grab
I'll
this
open the window.
3 or 4 minutes before the thunderstorm that is due is about to appear.
We're tracking it on the app and it's coming.
Absolutely. Anyway, so number 10 we're on. You're allowed to say it.
Well, I was going to say that so long ago.
So here we are on our number 10
Can you do something else next week?
of the top 10 reasons that pupils fail their driving tests. And today, number 10 is reverse park control.
I'm surprised at this one that it wasn't lower down, I have to say.
Lower down as in
3 or 4 or 5 or something like that.
Right, okay. I was surprised that reverse park observations didn't come before control.
That's a good point, Batman.
But anyway, there we go. So reverse park control. So what is meant by this is your reverse bay park and of course your parallel park. Now, having talked to our little examiner friends, they have confirmed probably what most of you guys would also know, and that is that they're far more likely to give a serious fault for a parallel park than a bay park, because our pupils tend to struggle a little bit more with that. So if we focus on the parallel park first, their points are, with your parallel park, is classically hitting a curb. Clearly touching a curb is not so much of an issue, but this is of course failing for it. So hitting a curb or mounting a curb. I think that we came to the conclusion that is quite likely to be dropped curbs and actually going up onto pavements, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't necessarily teach a parallel park with a dropped curb and a driveway there.
I do quite a lot now, so I've learned that.
Yet it's not unusual for that to happen, with them saying, for the purpose of this exercise, disregard.
Depends on the test centre and what's around. If you've got nice long roads with, where you've got plenty of parking available, they try and pick one without a drop curb, I think. But quite often when we tend to test, the only spaces are where there's a drop curb, because everyone's parked outside otherwise. So they tend to be the only spaces, or mostly the only spaces. Therefore, that's what I need to. And the method that I tend to teach as well doesn't involve reference points, so it involves a bit of feeling, a bit of sort of where the car is, and feeling, just nudging the curb, let's say, and then running forward and straightening up. But of course you can't feel that nudge if you on a drop curb. So it depends on the method you're using as well. If you're using a very vigorous point method, and there's 7 or 8 different ones, then they may not have that issue potentially, but they would maybe have other issues instead, which we'll talk about in a minute. Yeah.
So I think that's a good one to kind of think about from an instructor point of view, is being aware of the dropped curbs, and that if they're not going to get that feedback from a curb that they're there, it's far more likely they're going to mount a pavement and continue to keep going.
So when they say hit the pavement or mount the pavement, I think that's predominantly where it's going to be. Otherwise, to me, that I still control, I suppose, but it's down to speed then, isn't it? It's down to anticipating the camber, which is also control, absolutely. So they all sort of go together. If they lose the speed of it, they're going to end up going on the curb, potentially.
The other bit about the parallel park was getting too close to the target vehicle with the front of the car, so being quite intent on obviously looking at either reference points or mirrors or out the back, and not remembering that you have a front of the car as well, and that gets too close to the target vehicle. So that was...
So that can come around, particularly for PDIs that haven't been doing it very long, or not doing it at all at the moment. Just a bit of advice on that. That can come around for several things. Can it come around with being too close to the car when you pull up? So you're too close. It can be not being far enough back when you start to turn, because you're not creating space. And it can be creating too much angle, so again you don't create space. So it's creating that space, isn't it? So not too close, not too far back, but far enough back, and not creating too much angle.
And too much angle was also talked about by the examiners as being, I guess, the reason for the outcome, if you see what I mean. So that was that. The good old bay park, that was, as you'd expect, just not getting into the bay is the top one there that is the issue, and again, not necessarily knowing how to correct it.
I think that's the main thing, isn't it, really?
But of course, the other one that is very common, does depend a little bit on your test centre, of course, is reversing into posts or walls.
Yeah. It's one near us I don't really use, but that's got a nice big crash barrier thing in it, the one at Forest Hills Drive.
Yeah. And that actually happens more often than you think. So being aware of the other stuff that's around and going too far back.
You should bubble wrap it, shouldn't you? So I think the other thing we've sort of come across with being accurate, I suppose, and the control is like things like the 90-degree method and stuff. That's not always the best method, is it? It's not. It doesn't give you the best view. It doesn't give you the best angle, and that sort of stuff. We're not here to teach people how to teach it, but just look at different methods potentially. And
I think that particularly if you're new to the game, you may well think that there are only one or two ways that a pupil is allowed to do. For example, the bay park. I had a test yesterday. She came back. She had the bay park at the end of her test in the test centre car park, and the instructions were to pick a bay on the left or the right to reverse into. And she beautifully drove directly forward into a bay with perfect accuracy in between the lines, and our bays at our test centre are lined up, so all she did is pop it into reverse, good look around, and went straight back into a bay. Okay. It's of no consequence.
Absolutely fine. ADI 1 makes it very clear that's fine. The DES driving what's it called?
Driving the essential skills
says it shows pictures of people swinging out at nearly
angles.
Yeah, nearly 90 degrees. It's about 80 degrees, and then reversing back into a space. So there's no issues with that at all, and people will say, and we will get emails and we will get comments saying, our examiners say you have to do it 90 degrees in our test centre. I would take the ADI 1 along and show them, because it makes it DT1. Yeah, DT1 in this case, yeah. Same bit of thing. DT1 to show them that actually that's not what the rules say. If the circumstances in your test centre, I can think of one particularly, you couldn't swing because it's so tight, then that's fine. But if an examiner saying to you it has to be 90 degrees, then they're wrong, because it's just not the case. And we have this quite a bit, don't we?
Yep.
People on the PDI group being told that it has to be done 90 degrees. You know, what do you do when you go to test case? You know, you swing at an angle, don't you? Back into the space, predominantly, because it's just, you can see what you're doing and you can see where you're going and stuff. Don't you?
So that's number 10, reverse park control. I think it's been really interesting. I don't know about you guys.
I've been
really well, I've enjoyed it because it's given us 10 weeks worth of topics to think about, which means that as from next week we are topic less.
Yes.
So
nearly Christmas, isn't it?
Feel free to come up with some things that you think would be useful as a question of the week, and we will continue.
Yeah, anything you want us to dig into, look at and stuff, or just our opinions on it, for whatever that's worth.
And I think what we can possibly do is maybe on the website is put all 10 together so that they're easy to find, because certainly I will be looking back on them, and I've been really aware in my teaching that I've taken on board what has been said over the last 10 weeks by some of our examiners, and things are making sense to me.
Easy enough to find on our Facebook page because they will all be below each other, but we can look at the video section, they'll all be next to each other there, but we'll look, see what we can do.
Put them in a little mini series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
See you later. It's just about to really pour, I think. It's gone suddenly dark, isn't it? Okay, bye bye.